Hey, yo, check this out. We got a real great service provided for you right now. If you're a serious artist looking to perfect your craft, get your music out there in front of millions and millions of views, then look no further than right here. Hip Hop News, Uncensored, Raw Hip Hop News, and the Uncensored True podcasts are now running specials to promote your product. If you're serious about promoting your product on YouTube, email me right here at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com or my brother OGod at hiphopun.com.
You started something, I don't know if you said in college, or Black Republicans. That struck my attention because historically, we all know that blacks were swayed to be Democrats. OGod and I grew up, it was Clinton, it was Al Gore, it was Democrat. Anything you thought of. And then Democrats usually historically relate to black, but it seems to be on the contrary when it comes to money and capitalism versus socialism. So speak on that. Why does it seem as though black people are so steered toward, and early on, toward the Democratic Party as opposed to the Republican?
I have no idea, honestly. A Republican government really literally is a government by the few. So it's a representative government. So if anything that black folks would want, we would want to, as a minority, we would want to be represented. Even if you look back to, I wrote an article about lynching. Since I think the lynching against a federal lynching ban has been brought up over 100 times in the past 100 years, and every single time it's shot down by Democrats. Now, I have no clue. I have no idea why any black man in period would want to ride with that. Maybe somebody else can fill me in, but that never was an option. That never was something that it was always, you want to be represented as a business owner. You want your voice to be represented. You're the person that's going to be a job creator, and so we're in a system that rewards the creator. So that's what you need to do is to create.
Right. I agree. Consul, I want you to talk about it was an article that came out and we talked about it, SamAnt, and Darren, you can chime in on this as well. Under Trump, they're saying that I'm not sure if you've seen the article that entrepreneurship, or small black businesses have went up about 400% under Trump, and mainly like in the South. You know what I mean? It's an article that came out. So what do you think about the whole Trump era? And which I was just talking about a few minutes ago made me think about the miseducation of the Negro and how black, we don't know about, socialism. We don't know the difference between capitalism. We don't know the difference between the Democrat, Republican. So talk about that, the whole black people's ignorance of the Trump era, in the employment, the small business, going up under Trump. What do you think about
definitely. That was inevitable because Trump represents free market. And he represents privatized free market. And the reason being is because we are in an international age of business. One can speak to China from their living room with their pajamas on. You have to have a free market mind. Those that are comfortable with a democratic means of income are in for a rude awakening in the next 10 years. They're in for a definite rude awakening because the dollar per capita is going to hyperinflate. The rate of the hyperinflation, no one knows because it's hard to kind of judge that. But once it hyperinflates, if you do not have an organic means of producing revenue organically, you're going to have a problem because the companies cannot operate in a democratic society. The democratic society was built under the auspicity of chattel slavery. And so what Trump is speaking on is that the middle class is perpetually creating rich and poor. And because it is, the have and have-nots are causing an economic impasse. So because he's a private conglomerate venture capitalist that happened to become the president of the United States, quite naturally, Congress is not going to like that because Trump knows how to defer taxes. If you pay attention, when he was asked to show his tax incomes, he said, income tax, he said, over my dead body. So I'm not showing you my income tax because I don't have to pay income tax. That's under Title 26 through Title 30 of the Department of Revenue Code, the income tax code. Those things are voluntary based on your registration and how you carry yourself. We are all individual companies. We should not be operating in our persons We shouldn't be purchasing any financial promissory notes in our name. We should be operating corporately and using holding companies to withhold our assets. We should be creating family limited partnerships, trusts, and wills, and operating under the auspicity of a corporate manifest, creating corporate veils and operating in privacy. And that's what Trump is advocating. And because the reason why the Afro-American does not understand that is because they've been domesticated as a chattel slave. But we were indentured, meaning indenturement means contract. We were a trust to a larger company that gave subsidies to these plantations that were holding companies. The assets were the slaves, and the byproduct was the production, which was textiles, tobacco, alcohol. These were byproducts that they would use for import, export. This is why Clinton was so detrimental in the fall of the economy of the United States, signing off on NATO and NAFTA and things of that nature. And Trump is putting a stop to that literally right now, particularly with NAFTA. He also let NATO know that we're pulling out. We're not going to keep paying the 8% as we are the major company, and the other countries are only paying 3%. That's not fair to the people of America. And we got soldiers under democratic law that's been over there for almost 30 years in the same war that's been going on quietly for 30 years. And since the Reagan era, since we're Grenada, we have been engaged in the Middle East. And that is because we have these under the table democratic tax laws that put us in a position to pay when we shouldn't have to. If I go in the free market, like Trump talks about, I should have the choice if I want to identify with federal promissory notes. Federal promissory notes have absolutely no value. They only have intrinsic value under trade. So I have a right to create debt to protect any legal action against me. So that means I have a right to operate as an LLC and separate myself from any assets that are tax driven. Most assets are bought with US dollars and they're tax based. And that's the problem in the democratic economic structure. Everything that you buy has a tax. That's why you get a receipt, but you can't write the receipt off. But if you're giving me a ledger back and I'm giving you a federal note, I'm conducting business. What do you mean I'm an employee of who? If I give you $1 and you give me a receipt back, that is a business exchange.
Facts.
That dollar don't belong to me. And so that's what's the problem with the democratic structure. And this is why Trump is really the best thing happened for black people, to be honest.
Wow. You know what?
Facts.
Off of that, I got to ask you a question to shift gears a little bit toward hip hop when it comes to Trump, because we all seen what Kanye West did. He had the MAGA hat on. We all know that in mainstream media, all we hear about is Trump is he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's this, he's that, he's this, that, and the third. You feel me? Right. So why is it? Why do you think that Kanye? Or what do you think about Kanye West? Do you think that he's on more of the lines of the capitalistic point of view, as you brothers are? Or do you think he's out there as a distraction to piss off black people? What do you think about that? Both. I would love to hear both of your perspectives.
Yeah, honestly, I think Kanye is he's a distraction. He's somebody is being used as a distraction. He's being driven, and there's everything around him to show that he's being driven. To keep the whole Kardashian, I hate to say it, but the whole keeping up with Kardashian Hollywood movement is anti small government, or at least they would like us to believe that. Yeah, I think he's controlled right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's a marketable entity. He's used as, capital disbursement. He's dispersing capital and creating open shares of market, because in economy, there is a thing called competition. And with competition comes imperfection. And with imperfection, you're going to get ignorance and complexity. And that's needed in order to stimulate a market. So when we talk about hip hop, if you notice, the rising of independent free market owners that absolutely don't need a label anymore for distribution. So they can't take publishing and copyrights anymore. What they do is they create a 360 and take your private independent free market sales from your concert production and all that kind of stuff. So what they're doing is they're creating another level of scarcity. And scarcity is the #1 enemy of anything economic. If I make it scarce, then I'm going to subject you to that scarcity. You're going to see and feel the inequality. And then once I know that you feel it's unequal, I can go into competition. So basically what that means is Sony, Warner Brothers, Time Warner, a division of Warner Brothers, Universal, and Atlantic each own a portion of each other. But they create the competition so that you choose. But they own the choice. It's just like in politics. In the democratic structure, they own the choice. You can't create an independent choice. So when an artist signs to a music label, he is signing to a conglomerate of subsidized companies that are under one holding company banner. Everything that the artist receives is a tax write-off against the company. The salaries and all that kind of stuff, those are recoupment sales. So what they tell the artist is that you have to be an independent contractor. Even though you're employed, you're at work for hire, and you are responsible for generating your own revenue because this is an investment and you have to pay the investment back. So they treat each artist as a share within the company, and the board votes on the distribution of the shares because you have to stimulate the market share in any effective economy. You got to create imperfection, meaning you have to create companies that appear to be greater than other companies when they're owned by the same entity. And so when you look at a Kanye West, he's being treated as a company. He's a franchise. So he creates the imperfection, which drives sales even greater. If you notice, when Kanye came out, his album still sold phenomenally. It didn't need to sell as before because he's already a marginal brand. So that didn't have to happen. So definitely, I hope that the brothers and sisters that are in the hip hop market continue to do what they're doing and become more and more independent.
Do me a favor, family. Hit the link in the description box. Purchase your very own new era viral hip-hop news hat. Like I said, the link will be in the description box right now. Don't wait. Don't miss out. Grab the hottest thing popping right now. The viral hip-hop news hat available in the link in the description box. Grab yours right now.